Right. All
Lovely.
right. This is CapmLew podcast. I'm CapmLew, your host.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you. This is a part two
Yes.
on Ryan Sheckler Appreciation Day,
Yes.
as well as Love to the Nine Club,
Yes.
and a bit of affection toward our dear friends at the Bunt,
Yes.
who
We care
we
about you.
imagine might not like us very well.
Dude, come on. What is there to hate?
I don't think that I bet they're laughing.
Yes, I hope so.
If they're not,
That's on them.
maybe they will be.
Well, it's fine.
Well, they didn't have to listen.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Um,
they aren't. I'm sure they aren't. Unless they are. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe they'll look up the Bunt. I don't know if I've used their name in any of our podcast names. I should. I should start thinking about that when I create names or you
It's a
create names.
terrible idea. We should definitely do
We
it.
should do it.
Yeah, we should definitely do
we
it.
should just like for the next 5 episodes, just call them all the episodes the Bunt, so that when people look up the Bunt on YouTube, that all of our videos come up. That would be
I don't
awesome.
want to do that.
That would be awesome. That would
Which
be
probably
so funny.
means we should.
That
But
would be so funny.
that's like one of the ways that like little media empires like ours try to become mainstreamed.
Yes.
Is they troll.
Yeah, they play the games.
We've chosen the long game.
Yes, which is
which
fine.
is to talk about ideas and
Yeah.
talk about culture in a way that either does or does not resonate with our listeners.
Yeah.
And
You decide.
many F's are given
Mhm.
here at the CapmLew podcast. We are not a 0 F's given, but we still are a no quarter.
Yes, no
zone.
quarter, but
we don't
plenty of F's.
We don't give quarter to the ideas that kill our friends.
Yeah.
And and we don't appreciate when people give quarter to those same ideas. Ryan Sheckler in his Nine Club
Mhm.
was discussing, gasp,
Okay.
sobriety.
Yes.
And I don't know what I don't know.
Sure.
But I didn't know that he wasn't sober.
Oh, is he not sober right now?
He is sober, but I did not know that previously he wasn't.
Well, he kind of fell off the map, right? Maybe that's part of the reason I enjoyed his part so much is because I haven't seen anything of him in like forever.
Yeah.
It seems like after like 2012, it was just like nothing.
It sounds like the guy has gone through some things.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I have a lot of respect for.
I think he found faith as well,
No.
or faith found him. I think so. That's what Wikipedia says.
Well, I didn't.
And you can trust everything that's on Wikipedia.
I didn't notice a lot of that in his Nine Club interview, but
Yeah.
I don't require those things.
Yeah.
Those who do require those things are 3 and 1. But I'm interested in that and would love to be any kind of encouragement I could be to the faith of anybody who's listening.
Yes.
But there are limits to
Yes.
all perfection, and how much more than are there limits to this guy? Yeah.
You know, the other thing that he said that I enjoyed, I just read through his Wikipedia, just interested to know kind of the general trajectory of his life. And in some sort of interview, I think it was when he was doing the Life of Ryan or something, they asked him kind of what was important, what his deal was, and he really made a big emphasis on taking care of his parents, loving his family, and skateboarding. But skateboarding being subservient to the other bigger things in life. I just wonder if the guy isn't just really well rooted and has made a really clear decision to make a living doing action sports. You know what I mean? Like just right out there in the open saying, yes, I'm here to make money. That's the point. This is the career that I'm in because I love doing this. But there are things that are much more important to me than this, you know? I respect that clarity.
Your overlay of that onto him.
Yeah.
My wishful thinking
Yes.
would be that is not just wishful thinking.
Me too.
We wish the best for all of our listeners.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that might have happened. I would love to know.
Me too.
Because you see these public figures and it develops a sense of affection for them.
Yeah.
You care about their lives, especially like the direction I come into it from. You know, I've not really been heavy into hero worship.
Yeah.
And so like, and in skateboarding, there's a lot of like nostalgia.
Yeah.
and people just are super. Yeah, there's a lot of what I'll call hero worship.
Sure.
I'm not sure that's a fair characterization. It just meant a lot to a lot of these men and women,
Yeah.
mostly men,
Yeah.
that these guys were doing it.
Yeah.
It meant that they could do it, and
Yeah.
so they went for it and they learned things on the way. There's value there.
Yeah.
There is. I'm not like just like throwing stones at people for taking skateboarders as life examples.
Sure. Right.
I mean, that's insanely dumb.
Well, it depends on the skater, right?
Well, yeah, I didn't mean it when I said it's insanely dumb.
It is kind of, no, I get the point. It
It's
is kind
in
of
our
insanely dumb.
nature to
Yeah.
look up to other people and to follow and build on the work of those who came before us.
Yes.
Um, as a kid, I know I've mentioned this before, and at the risk, I'm going to say it. As a kid,
Yeah.
15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
serious about skateboarding
Yeah.
when there was no serious goal in skateboarding. I
Mm-hmm.
just knew that skateboarding was bigger to me than national championships in karate
Yeah.
and Olympic
Yeah.
competition that was on my
Radar.
possibility
Yeah.
radar.
Sure.
I'm almost certain I wouldn't have made it into the Olympics.
Did you ever have an opportunity to train and go for that?
I did not go to the USTU
Okay.
nationals.
Okay.
I didn't do that, but I was slated for it,
Sure.
and um, I don't remember exactly but that was what was expected of me
Sure.
at
Right.
my school,
Yeah.
and my school, like my instructor, my American instructor, he missed qualification for the Olympics on some technical BS.
Okay.
It was really close, and he
Sure.
was much, much better than
Yeah.
the guy who beat him.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. Right.
It was. He slipped.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks. Yeah.
what's weird is back then, if you fell down
Mm-hmm.
while you were throwing a head kick,
Okay.
it didn't matter.
Sure.
The point was not scored.
So you could hit,
And
but you fell down,
he
and so the
fell
point.
3 times in his match,
Oh, that sucks.
and he
Yeah.
was astoundingly talented.
Yes.
And he was extremely hardworking.
Sure.
In fact, he might have been more hardworking even than he was talented.
Wow. Yeah.
His mental attitude, he was like a fighting rooster.
Yes.
Um, and watching that happen, I was really disenchanted with the Olympics track
Okay.
by that match, by that series
Oh,
of
you
matches.
watched him
Oh,
do
I
that.
watched it.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah, I
Sure.
watched it,
Yeah.
and I was just like next round
Yeah.
of age
Sure.
behind him to come
Right.
up and get on the same thing.
Right.
And I watched him lose a match to an opponent who was far inferior
Yeah. Obviously not as
because he slipped.
talented.
But now in the Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
these kids are throwing head kicks
Yeah.
that don't knock a guy out,
Okay.
don't hurt anyone,
Yeah.
and falling and getting 4 points.
Oh,
They
geez.
changed it.
Yeah, they changed it. Sure.
And I don't know how I feel about that. In fact, I never processed that experience. I was young.
Sure.
Um,
How old? Like 15?
I was 16,
Okay.
17.
So by 18,
By
you
18, I
could
would
have
have
been
been
like at least in the Olympic route if
I
you
would
had
have
chosen.
been going for nationals.
Sure.
I fought in a U.S. Cup tournament.
Okay.
Same one, same series that Joe Rogan won New Jersey. I
Okay.
won New York.
You won it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and I have the same U.S. Cup title.
Hold on. You're older than Joe is, though, right? He
No,
would have
I think he's a few years older than I am. I think
Oh,
he's like 55
okay.
or 53 or something. I'm 50.
That's cool. So you won the state championship.
No, I won. Now, the state championship was USTU.
Okay.
I won the U.S. Cup.
So even bigger,
Well, it sounds even bigger.
but it's not.
No, these competitions tend to be scroungy little things.
Okay, sure.
I mean, it was big.
Yeah. How
It
many
was big.
people?
Someone else can tell me what it was worth. How many people? I fought 3,
How many people were
5
at the
matches,
competition?
some number of thousand.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Maybe there were 1,000 competitors.
Were you proud of yourself? That's amazing, dude. Good for you.
I fought one kid. I wasn't a black belt,
Oh, you weren't.
and they put a black belt on me.
Okay.
And so I fought in youth black belt
Sure.
because I was 15,
Okay.
maybe 16. I think I was 15.
Okay.
And oh, I was 15 because I wasn't a black belt yet. I was maybe 14.
Okay.
And I fought the first kid I fought, they stopped the match because I was just heavy bagging him.
Just drilling the guy.
Yeah.
Dude.
I trained my son to compete, and by trained I mean I gave him a pointer.
Yes, right.
They stopped the match and they changed the entire rules of
Of the
yeah,
competition?
they
Because you were just hammering this
because
guy?
it's full contact to the body.
Okay.
And in my day, it was medium contact to the head. If you injure them when you kick them in the head,
Yeah.
you didn't get disqualified. They didn't want you to break someone's head.
Yeah.
You would be disqualified if you broke their head.
Okay.
But if you hit them in the head and you left a red spot, nah, we're all friends
Yeah,
here.
it's fine. Yeah, right. Sure. You'll have that.
You get what you get.
Yeah, right.
This is on
This is on
you.
you. Right.
Yeah. But when my son was competing
Yeah.
at a tournament, I told him, kick their body and arms like it's a heavy bag.
Yeah.
Kick their head, like you're trying not to move a balloon.
Oh, geez, just
Yeah,
give it
like
a
you're
tap.
touching a
Yeah, just
balloon.
tap. Yeah.
So he was fighting with a kid who was reaching out and doing this on top of his head just with their wrist.
Seriously, just
And they
tapping
were
him?
awarding full points for this tapping on the head.
Golly, dude.
You're going to have that. And I said to him, all you need to do is kick him on the arms every time his arms come in range.
Yeah.
And if he comes in range and his arms are out of the way and his body's in range,
Yeah, get
kick
that.
him in the body. So my son started slugging away baseball bat level
Yeah, like
roundhouse kicks,
yeah,
right?
sure.
And so they stopped the match, and then they made a big deal about full contact to the body, light contact to the head.
Wow.
And the referee said light contact to the body. And I don't know if she took a point away from him or not,
Okay.
but
Was he disenchanted by that?
he was as well.
Yeah.
I'm disenchanted with the whole scene.
Sure.
It's very political. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
And if you want to see even bigger garbage in the Korean martial arts, just look up the Korean boxing at the Olympics. That when the Korean boxer won,
Yeah.
look up. It's like you'll find it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Korea awarded the win to their boxer over the American boxer.
Okay.
And the Buddhist monks of Seoul, Korea came out in protest because the guy had lost so badly.
Oh my gosh.
But that's
wow.
That's cultural.
Yeah,
it
sure.
was a fixture, and it bled into all these types of things.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyways,
yeah, rabbit trail's fine. That was very interesting.
I'm glad to share.
No, that was cool. Just hold on really quick. So you were in the competition with the kid, and what were you doing to make them?
The first kid I treated him like a heavy bag every time he got close enough, and he had a shorter reach than me.
Yeah.
And poor little buddy, I beat him until he didn't want to fight anymore. He started to run away.
Okay.
And so that was over.
Yeah.
And I never kicked him in the head.
Okay.
Because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And then the next guy I got in the ring with, he opened up the match. As far as I can remember, I was a young kid, so it's all foggy, but I remember that he just overhand punched me in the face.
Straight up.
Like with all of his might.
Were you guys wearing gloves?
Yeah, we had little glovey things on.
Yeah, sure.
And it didn't hurt me.
Okay.
Which,
it's kind of a
says
sign.
Something,
it's kind of a sign, right?
I slipped it or whatever, but you're not in those competitions. They're trying to see how good you are at this martial art, which is feet and hands.
Yeah.
Now it's morphed into this hands down, completely dancing thing, which I really don't like. But so he threw like a back fist across my face and hit me in the eyes with it. Didn't hurt my eyes. Yeah. Maybe an elbow in the clinch.
Okay.
And then they kicked him out.
Oh, they literally were like,
"You're done." Then he was scrambling, like trying to fight me and saying, "Come out in the parking lot.
Oh my
gosh! Who's really."
Oh my
so there you have a breakdown of the whole what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that competitor was disqualified.
Okay.
And I don't know if I had a third match that day or not. I think I did, and I won it with no problem. I just can't remember what it was.
Sure. But you won the entire competition.
Yeah, but it was only 3 matches. It's a division.
Yeah. It's not you won your division.
It's not like blood sport.
Okay. Yeah. Okay? Right.
Or not, even like the UFC back in the day when like Tank Abbott and those guys were doing it where you'd have to fight 5 matches to get to the finals,
Yeah,
and then after
brutal.
fighting 5 matches, you would fight the final
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, sure.
Like that
Kind of right
was
in a row. Yeah,
that's
that's savage, dude.
extremely impressive.
Yes,
That's extremely impressive.
sure, right.
So
That's cool.
I don't have that dog in me.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I don't got that dog in me.
I've never had that dog in me.
Yeah, but
But
it kind of disenchanted you from, or you were more interested in skateboarding at the time. You
I was
realized this was,
already, I must have been 14 or 15, because I already was riding my skateboard every day and was just like, Taekwondo was what I trained, and it was this, and was this way
sure,
of channeling my life into something that built me up, and I really excelled in it
yeah,
to some extent. There were others who were much more talented than I was.
yeah.
But I watched one of the guys who was a super talent.
Hmm.
I watched him burn out on drugs.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
watched
really
him burn
sad.
out on drugs really hard.
That's really sad.
And I
Yeah.
watched another guy, and he burned out on becoming a doctor or something
Okay.
and actually having a life.
Yeah, sure, right.
I watched another guy who was very, very good, and he burned out on alcohol.
Yeah.
And why would why
Or
would that
four others.
why
Wow,
would
this is a
that why would that
fascinating.
call be coming to me?
That's a fascinating call. Anyway, sure.
Anyways, long and short of it,
How does that intersect with Ryan Sheckler?
I can't remember,
Well, you
but this
said,
has been fun.
yeah, you said I
Um,
was much more interested in skateboarding.
I was more interested in skateboarding than that, and
Sure.
I can. But I didn't have heroes in skateboarding from
Yes.
day one when I went to my first demo, and I've told that
Yeah, yeah.
story before.
Vision.
Oh, what I wanted to say was, in skateboarding, I was there when the first VHS copies of skate videos came out, and one thing that didn't happen with me was I did not think the people I saw in the videos were like, I would look at them and like I couldn't learn anything about them. And the people who were really good at skateboarding that I saw in my area,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but they weren't they weren't good people.
Sure.
They
Right.
were not good people.
Right.
They were into drugs and all kinds of wild partying and
Yeah.
stuff that I knew that was not my deal, man. I can't hang with that.
Sure.
I didn't grow up as a Christian kid or anything, but I was like, man, this is like, they're gonna get someone killed. And one guy at
Right.
one of those wild parties, one of the best skaters in our area,
Yeah.
big drunken party, someone was backing up their car,
No.
and he was behind it. The
No.
car hit him,
No.
wound him up into the frame,
Ah.
and then went for 3.5 miles before they figured out he was under there.
Dead.
And
Complete.
he
No.
survived. He survived. Yeah,
Oh,
but that's the kind of
dude.
that's the kind of thing that I saw happening around the party crowd.
Yeah, and it's consistent.
Fast forward to early 2000s, and I hear about Cardiel getting crushed under a trailer or whatever mayhem they were doing.
Yeah.
And I'm already like, my heart bleeds over the kind of mayhem that kind of partying is doing.
Yeah.
And that was before I had like my particular and peculiar religious experiences that have formed who I am this day. You know, like, so even as a kid, I was not into these people as my heroes because I thought they were idiots.
Yeah, well.
And like, I remember like when it's really big right now to like think that Rodney Mullen is like this guru.
Yeah.
But I don't take life advice from people like that. I don't form my personal inspiration about life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a copy of The Mutt.
Is that his biography?
It's one of his biographicals.
Sure.
And I was really touched by it, and I read it, and I cared about it while I was reading it. I cared about him.
What about, so like when Rodney Mullen gives advice,
sad.
what about it don't you like?
Well, actually, I like that Rodney doesn't tend to give advice.
Yeah, I actually like his kind of ethos. Like I listened to his TED Talk and I kind of enjoyed it.
I don't hold skateboarding in the kind of existential wonder that Rodney Mullen does.
Sure.
And I don't have a lot of patience for that existential wonder.
Sure.
I think that that's mostly, I think that that's making a much ado about nothing.
Much ado about nothing.
I do.
Sure.
I think that skateboarding is ephemeral.
Yeah.
And is not worthy of these assignments of deep meaning.
Yeah.
that you're seeing. I don't get misty-eyed and wonderful and open-mouthed and agog over skateboarding.
Do you feel like skateboarding is magical in any ways? Like when you ride the skateboard, do you have moments where you're like, oh man, this is really magical? This is actually an interesting thought that you're bringing up. I'm trying to think if I feel that way ever.
I think that skateboarding is best when it is least important.
Yes.
And I do not tend to have major existential epiphanies through skateboarding.
Yeah.
The most closest I get to that
Mm-hmm.
is when, like, I was doing that Wally wedge.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
I did
yeah.
it like 5 or 6 times last
Yes.
time we were
Yeah.
over
Yeah. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So there I am, and out of the maybe 5 or 6 times I did it, I had 2 of them
Yeah.
where my knees really started coming up.
Yes.
I would hit it, and then at the top of it,
Bring
I
your
had
knees up.
more, and my
Yes.
knees came up,
Yeah.
and nobody was looking,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed it.
Sure.
Um, and I really, really, uh, in that moment thought, oh, I'm getting more jumpier,
Yeah.
and these jeans do fit right for me to skate
Yeah.
in.
Right.
This is really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know,
Sure.
I'm a pretty mild guy. I haven't put my eggs into the basket of if I skate well, my life means something.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I'm
Good
not
for you.
getting from skateboarding what some of the folks might
Yeah.
be getting.
Absolutely.
I'll go out there and and I did all that with a hurt shoulder, and I
Yep.
didn't hurt my shoulder more, and my shoulder felt better afterward. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, I'm 50.
Yeah.
I'm not in like tip top, but like it's nice
Yeah.
to know that I can still hop over a thing or two here or there,
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
and but I reject the idea that my life is in any way more significant or meaningful because
Sure.
I did a thing.
Yeah. I think, at least for me, as you're talking about that, I've had a couple moments that really stand out to me. One time, because for a long time I really wanted to do frontside airs, like real big frontside airs,
Frontsiders.
frontside airs. And there was one night I was skating at Arvada skate park, and I felt really good, which is not very common for me as I skate. 99% of the time I'm not really feeling on my board and like feeling really nice. But I was feeling really nice, and I began to like a 4.5 foot, 5 foot quarter pipe ollie up out of the transition and do massive frontside disasters. And I was really working on getting my shoulders and my hips to come around. And I had this moment where I thought to myself, what if you just landed back in the transition? And I did it. And for like 20 minutes, I did like 25 of them. These huge waist high
Late grab.
frontside, didn't even grab them, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
lopey, huge Jason Jesse style, Grant Taylor esque. I mean, you just felt like you were totally flying.
Yep.
And it was this magical moment.
It clicked.
And it just clicked, and then it unclicked, and I haven't done it again. But
Wow.
it was just that one moment, and I think I had a friend videotape one, and I'm happy that I have it on
I
tape.
think I've seen it.
Another one that I did a one backside air nose grab, popped out of the transition, grabbed my nose, and came back in. I just did it one time, and it was again that same magical feeling. But the thing that I enjoyed about it was that I had a goal, I had something that I wanted to do, and I had overcome the fear that I felt like was holding me back, and was able to do the thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, oh, now my life is complete. It just felt like, wow, you worked really hard for a long time and have been skateboarding for so long, and you had this goal that you had, and you hit it. And it's funny because I just stopped. I was like, I don't need more. Like, I just wanted this thing, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah. That's that pathological contentment that you and I
yes,
suffer from.
yeah, right.
That keeps us from going
Yes,
pro or
yes,
achieving our dreams.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
There's a term that I've heard in the fighting arts,
mm-hmm.
flow state.
Flow state, exactly. Runner's high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to operate out of flow state,
yeah,
which often means they say when you're under pressure, you resort to your
like,
most fundamental level
yeah,
of training.
absolutely.
So my
Lowest
question when I
20%.
skate is, okay, what can I do?
Yeah,
And so I like to see where it leads.
yeah,
And progression, I like my progression to come from operating in a flow state.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to relax a lot when I'm skateboarding
Yep.
and just flow around
Yes, me too.
until I begin to feel something, and then I begin to explore that
Yep.
from a place of relaxed energy.
Yes.
And that means I do a lot less.
Yep.
But I keep doing it,
Yeah.
and it keeps in some ways I build, in other ways I preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but it means that when I ride my skateboard, I enjoy it, and that's my goal. My goal isn't to face down my fears. I
Mm-hmm.
like to leave fear out of the equation and just ride the wooden toy
Yep.
for fun.
Yes.
And I don't tend to appreciate um, the glad handing and the promotion
Sure.
of highfalutin notions
Yeah.
about skateboarding,
Yeah.
because I I find them to be counterproductive
Yeah.
to um the human, like, I don't know, journey.
Experience,
I
right?
do,
Yeah.
because then when you get older and you've high-minded your way through here, and you've
Yeah.
lived on the chest bumps and the bro high fives and the
Yep.
bro hugs,
Yep.
then you're going to lose all of that,
Yeah.
and you may actually score yourself some pretty serious injuries,
Yes.
all in chasing after something you're not going to quit,
Yep.
you're not going to keep.
Yeah.
And so um, all of that to say, um, uh, the, the and we were talking about Sheckler,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things I liked about the final product was
Yeah.
that it looks like Ryan has those things on lock.
Yes.
However, of course, they opened with a slam section,
Yeah. Poor guy.
and I also, through his Nine Club interview,
Mm-hmm.
I got a snootful
Yeah.
of how, I don't know if you noticed in his ender, if you
Mm-hmm.
go rewatch it,
Yeah.
his sweatshirt is tattered and flowing in the wind behind him.
Because he's eaten crap off that thing so many
But
times.
that's also because it was a sweatshirt over another sweatshirt
Yeah.
over a t-shirt over another t-shirt.
Yes.
He was
Layering
layering up, and he was
protection.
taping his
Hands.
hands.
Yeah. 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 Right.
He really bled. He
Yes.
really bled for a lot of those tricks.
Right.
And I'm not opposing that, but I will continue to give my contrasting opinion for what it's worth.
Yeah.
That that someone would say that's great.
Yeah.
I think it takes more than something existing for me to say it's great.
Right.
I'm also not a subjective person.
Yeah.
Um, I I think for something to be great, you're gonna have to win me over.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So I'll tell you this: it definitely is. It definitely is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an impressive thing.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves an impression on me.
Yeah.
Um, I really like the persona of this guy.
Yeah.
Um, I have been I've been near him.
Yeah.
I I'm glad he got sober, and I tend to think that maybe that is one of the, if you want me to say something's great,
Yeah.
try staying married your whole life.
I know. Right. I know.
Okay?
Yeah.
Knock on my door when I'm 70 and you're 50, and show me that you're still married,
Yeah.
and teach your children hard work and right and wrong.
Yeah.
I haven't even perfectly, man,
Sure. So
as a
difficult.
dad,
Yeah. So difficult.
and or be honest,
Yeah.
and or sobriety.
Yeah.
Like, get off of all of the pharmakeia that you're using instead of character development.
Yeah. Right.
Impress, like, these are achievements.
Right.
Being really good at playing with a toy or kicking people in the head
Yeah.
or torso,
Right.
whichever one gets close enough first,
Yeah. Right. Right.
um, these are achievements I'm interested in. I
Yeah.
like watching skateboarding. I
Yeah.
like watching fighting arts.
Yeah.
Um, I like thinking about how that came together.
Yeah.
And I like doing those things,
Right.
but they aren't what's important.
Yeah. Agreed.
They can be vehicles,
Oh yeah.
They can be vehicles for relationships, and
Yeah.
they can be vehicles for, I think relationships are one of the most important things in all of life.
Yeah.
You can hear that in what I think great achievements are,
Right.
you know. But don't hold me up a guy and tell me this is here is your God, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and the guys, stitch together a track record of 16 failed marriages,
Yeah.
or on and off of drugs so many times, and or was a closeted alcoholic, or was on
Yeah.
HGH
Right.
and testosterone supplementation in order to pull it off. And
Yeah.
I learned about one pro, like, vert skater guy, who I'm not naming, and I don't know
Hmm.
if you even know who it is, but someone went to their compound. They have a compound, and they have a doctor living on the compound.
Living there?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
doctors, massage
Yeah. Yeah.
therapists,
Sure.
everything living
Yeah.
on the compound. And I'm like, I get it. That's how they pull off this thing. But like, I've always been like, when I was a kid, I
Hmm.
remember the kid who had a ramp was
Yeah.
the kid who was good at skating a ramp.
Yeah.
I didn't have a ramp.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at skating a ramp. And when I went to skate a ramp, the kids who were already good at it, they got to take these big 10, 12 wall runs.
Yeah. Sure.
I would go and take a 3 wall run and fall
Yeah.
because I needed practice.
Yeah.
Then their 10 wall runs would go, and they started snaking the squids.
Yeah.
I was getting better, so I could get my runs in on some of these ramps.
Sure.
And some of the guys who grew up with me might remember some of those scenarios, you know.
Yeah.
But when I got good, enough,
Yeah.
I snaked the squids.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was nasty, but I remember thinking, this is nasty.
Yeah. I don't
This
like
is
this.
like
Yeah.
haves and have-nots the
Yeah.
whole way through. And then I built a ramp. I built a 3-foot mini half pipe at my house. I think
Hmm.
it was 12 feet wide,
Sure.
and I skated that, and I got good.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned a lot of the tricks I know now.
Sure.
And for what it's worth, I don't think it was worth what people thought it was.
Yeah. No.
It was
Absolutely.
haves and have-nots.
Yeah. I think that's really part of the reason that I liked Ryan's part in his skating so much, is because it felt like, I don't know. I just there was an essence about it that I felt more relaxed, because I felt like he had felt like he had earned his spot already, so the pressure was off, and it felt like the skating he was doing was just the skating that he enjoyed. And even though that style of skating isn't the skating that I enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting the aura, the smell that, oh man, this guy's just doing stuff that he really likes. And
Yeah.
when I see a person, even a rail ripper, and I can tell, man, this guy is really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much.
In his 9 Club interview, he talked about, I wanted to see if I could still do it.
And that's cool, man. That's like
Yeah.
just a goal, like him against him.
That was cool
Oh
about it.
man, I
mean, it
really
sounds
like
like,
that.
Lou, you're going back on everything you said,
Yeah,
but I get it.
yeah,
He wanted to see if he could, and he said if he didn't make his ender,
yeah,
that he was just gonna scrap it and release it on his Instagram.
yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is, I thought that was an awesome
Yes,
option to
right.
pivot.
Especially after was he the one that said that he was going to backside flip down El Toro, and he put out a part and he didn't, or he was the one who said that he did? Was that Ryan Sheckler?
It was. I thought about that, and I thought, I don't know. These dramas that unfold
Yeah,
about, guy didn't really
yeah.
switch Ollie the picnic table.
Right.
Gifted Hater did a huge
It
thing
was more
about,
an oblique angle over the picnic table.
and he
Yeah,
exposed it through the angle of the sun, and it was
yeah,
actually quite good.
yeah. Fascinating.
And then so the guy was obviously challenged.
Yeah,
He immediately went out, and
and did
man,
it.
did he ever
Dude,
do it.
he did it
He
right.
did it quite properly.
Yes.
Um, I I feel like, I don't know how old Ryan was or what sort of, but I'm like, be cool to the guy was kind of, I'm like, let's not dogpile a dude. I feel like people like Ryan get dogpiled really hard,
Yeah,
and
and
I think he got a little bit dogpiled on that.
I didn't like the fact that he said that he had done something that he obviously had not already done. However, I did notice,
I feel like he might have done it.
well, he, at the end of that part where everybody thought it was going to be in it and everybody's mind was going to be blown, he had like 5 tries of him doing it. Straight up, feet on the board, literally the impact just being so heavy. Like,
Yeah.
he lands the trick and just falls, like just crumples.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like, I know that technically he didn't do it, and I'm not down with the guy saying he did something that he didn't do just because I don't like the lie. But holy moly, did he put effort into it? Like, wow. I mean, he ate absolute just plates full of crap going full board.
We also don't know if he did do it and it just didn't get on film.
Yes, and that's a great
I
question.
I
Right,
remember when that controversy struck,
right.
just you guys kind of know where I come to things.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even want to find out whether he did it or not.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't want to find out whether he did it or not.
Right.
I am completely not invested in whether a guy did or didn't do
Yeah.
a thing down a thing that he said he did,
Right.
because I never went in for the having to find the never been done
Sure.
NBDs and the
Right.
ABDs.
Right.
I always thought it was a terrible idea for us to organize our culture around that kind of achievement.
Yeah.
And I've just, I'm like that. Those internet meme videos, the holy nope,
Yeah.
where the guy's like, well, I've got my Bible
Yeah.
and it's time to go to church. And then they have some crazy religious
Yeah.
obsession moment.
Right.
And he's like,
nope.
nope. And he just,
Yeah.
and
I've done that. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
noping
Yeah.
from the minute I entered the industry in 2005
Yeah.
at a very lightweight level as
Yeah.
a regional, national rep.
Sure.
I brought in six states
Yeah.
for the brand I was working for.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. Everyone else was doing all the ripping.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was easy to rep for a brand that had these great personalities.
Yeah, sure.
It was easy. It was not an achievement.
Right.
But like seeing what was going on, I was always the guy saying, "Hey, man, like, don't get broke off so hard if you don't want to, because you're already all that, man.
Yes, you're already in the group.
You're killing it."
Yeah.
I always kind of funnel people into the small arts of skateboarding and
Mhm.
the character of being a person who was worth spending time paying attention to
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't go in there to do any changing of anything, just to
Sure.
support the hard labor that was already going in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting you brought that up, because the first thing I thought was, isn't it nice that this guy who was like disgraced
Yeah.
because of his acts
Right.
and his acne
Yeah, right.
medicine, and because of he got accused of claiming a trick that he didn't land, and
do,
being a
right.
child star everyone liked to pick on, and
Right.
and all that. Isn't it nice that I don't know how old he is now.
He must be 50.
No, he's much younger than me. I think he's 42.
I could see 42.
Yeah, I think he's 40 or 42 or 38.
He
or
definitely
something
looks
like
older
that.
for sure. Yeah.
I thought it's really nice that he can come out. He challenged himself.
Yep.
He was ready to abandon the part.
Yep.
If he couldn't get all the parts he wanted to.
Yeah.
I have a lot of love for his engagement of it that way.
Right.
I'm happy. It sounded like he was bookending his career.
Yeah. Like, good
And
for
from
you,
here
man.
on out, I hope that he gets to go out like an old bull,
And just relax,
just be put
man.
out to
Yeah.
pasture and bring up the next generation.
Yep.
I think there's a huge amount of value to that. So
I liked his part the same way that I like watching Bob Lofton's parts.
Yeah.
Because I don't freestyle at all. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching Bob Lofton skate, because it's all stuff that I never want to do. Probably, maybe I would if I was with Bob, but you can tell, man, this guy's put in real time, real effort to do something, to actually get good at it, and he's just really enjoying himself.
Luke, there are skateboarders I watch,
Mhm.
and I feel like they are doing what they feel like they're supposed to do.
Yeah, like
And there
awesome.
are other skateboarders I watch, and I feel like
Mhm.
they are doing what they like to do.
Yes.
Now, that's a personal perception.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I almost
for what
never,
that's worth.
I almost never want to meet Ryan, because I'd be so disappointed to find out that he isn't the person that I'm perceiving him to be right now. Like, sometimes it's nice.
Don't meet your heroes.
Yes, I don't want to, because I just feel like, man, this guy seems just so cool and down to earth, and has seen some things, and has walked through the fire a little bit,
I think your assessment is likely
Yes.
to be accurate.
Yes.
Having been in the same room with him,
Yeah.
I reckon that he's definitely got some learnings under his belt, because he's
Absolutely.
survived being a child star,
Which it takes a lot, man.
and and he has a beautiful child of his own, and it
Yes,
looks like he might have some priorities that are getting straight.
absolutely.
I'd encourage you to listen to the
I
Nine Club
will.
with him,
Yeah, I
because
will.
he said that when it came to addiction, that he had to learn that every single thing that he thought to do
Hmm.
was always wrong. That being a child star,
Yeah,
growing up, whatever
yeah.
his come up, that his first inclinations were always bad.
Good for him, man.
He grew up surrounded by studios and yes
Yeah,
people or whatever. He didn't
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
this, but
sure.
I was like,
That's
that
what you're
is
feeling.
very interesting, because
Yeah,
he's describing what happens to so many Hollywood people,
yeah,
that they have these like, well, I'm going to buy a multi-million-dollar house in Malibu and I'm going
yeah.
to throw giant parties and all my neighbors are going to hate me,
Oh,
and I'm going to be a nuisance and a pest because I can be,
yeah,
like this
dude.
sort of bad boy baby boy
Yeah,
thing that
sure.
we have as our
Right,
mainstream,
right.
and lift it up to the kids,
Yeah.
and that's a train wreck. And
Come
what's
on,
sad
man.
is people die.
Yep. Straight up, bro.
People die on couches because of
Yep.
that,
People driving
and
home drunk. Yep.
they commit unspeakable acts,
Yep.
and it gets covered up because they have the clout. All
Yep.
this stuff is lurking in the back rooms of skateboarding, and everyone just hopes it doesn't come out.
Yep.
So I figure we might hear it. We also do what we want to do,
Yeah.
and what we wanted to do today was talk about these things this way.
Yeah.
If you've listened this far, I don't know. What do you want, a medal?
Don't you have something else to
Um,
do, like dishes to wash or something?
well,
What's
nice
wrong with
thing
you?
is you can listen to this
While you
mayhem
do it.
while you do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Heck yeah.
dear listeners, we wish you well,
Yeah.
and we hope that what we're sharing is some contribution to the collective mind of the skateboarding enthusiasts of the world.
Yeah. The hive mind.
We're not sure where we fit in that hive mind.
It's
We
fine.
sure as heck ain't queen bees.
On the outside smoking cigarettes or something.
Yeah, those two drone honeybees.
Yeah.
They're all girls. They
Yeah.
are. They're all girls.
I thought they were all men.
I don't know. The men might be one. I
It's
don't
all
know.
men
Is it?
servicing one woman.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well,
One queen bee.
that's a cool arrangement.
Yes.
Um,
Good for them.
I want a different image.
Yeah, right. Dang it.
But
Yes.
yeah, we're here.
Yep.
We're gonna keep going, and it's nice. We got Jeff Vanover lurking in the background,
Heck yeah.
running support for us.
Yep.
And until he decides he can't stand us anymore, we're gonna keep
Yeah.
him.
Absolutely.
Right on. Well, this was another episode of the CapmLew podcast. I gotta go.
Yep.
I got a motorcycle trip to take, and we wish you well.
Yep.
Happy trails.
We love you.
Road rise to meet you. CapmLew signing out.
Laters.